My name's Brianna. I'm a stylist here in Los Angeles. I've been styling for 12 years. I built this platform just because I felt like it was something valuable to people who don't know anything about the industry and feel kind of trapped or stuck like they're alone, where they can't find information online or they don't know how to reach out to other people within the industry to get information. So I put together these webinars with my friends that I know, that I felt like their story was inspirational, motivational, and it also helped me along mine. And I feel like everybody's connected in a way where we meet each other for a reason and a purpose to help each other grow. And I wanted to share that with you. I also work with people one-on-one consulting, and I have a course as well as a book where I teach all the fundamentals when it comes to styling, how to set your rates, your programs, your packages, contracts and agreements, invoices, all that information that's really hard to find online. But I wanted to build this platform to put everything together so it's like an all-in-one kind of thing, and introduce you to some really dope people that are in the industry who've been here for a really long time, you may not have known about, that have been behind the scenes, really the ones that are making shit happen. Like, these are the people who bring your favorite artists to life, because it is a team behind them, and styling and creative brand consulting is one of them. That's what I do, and that's also what Mike does. So, Mike, everybody know who you are.
Well, I want to say thank you, for bringing me on. I appreciate it, for sharing your platform and stuff with me. I mean, we've had so many conversations, about like styling and just like random stuff, whatever. But like, again, thank you and congratulations on your book and writing your book. It's so dope. This girl is a published author, guys. You guys have to check out the book. I mean, amazing stuff.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, B, for bringing me on. I appreciate this.
Of course. So let everybody know who you are, and then what your entry into the industry was. Like, how did you start working with Wayne?
Okay. Well, I'm Mike Morris. I'm originally from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually roommates with Lil Wayne's manager, and so that sort of was like my entryway into the music industry or whatever. And you know, um, that's pretty much my entryway into it. That's how it all happened. And I did a lot of work for Wayne prior to getting into like the styling stuff.
Yeah.
I built the company Truck Fit for him like from ground up.
Yeah.
So I've been able to see a lot, do a lot, experience a lot, and just sort of just I guess within like the last several years, I've been like assistant styling him, which has been like quite different than building a brand for him, and engaging like all of these different people and doing all of these ads and all of that other stuff. The styling part and portion of it is like really like fulfilling, for me. And just I think just having that relationship with him initially, was like, kind of like also my entryway into like, being at much more closer to him by way of Marissa Flores. Shout out to Marissa Flores. I appreciate her so much for like, really like opening me up to really allowing me to like coming in and really like helping her, like, assist her, like, with the whole Wayne thing or whatever, because she didn't have to do it, you know what I'm saying? But like, she's an advocate of mine and of me, and she goes hard for me. So, shout out to her.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know who Marissa Flores is, sorry. Marissa Flores is like, Wayne's day-to-day stylist. She's the one that deals with all of the things, the things, like in terms of like treatments and working out all of the budgets and all of that other stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Just for context.
So as far as styling, what was it that you did working with him before you even got your foot in the door to do that?
I think what for me, it was really like people just really like recognizing my eye. You know what I'm saying? Like really just seeing like, like how dope I am. And I think that's great for people to recognize that, right? You know what I'm saying? Because you know, you may have like some dope people around you that you really just don't know, like, you know, that could
Right.
really help take, you know, your stuff, like, you know, to the next level, you know what I'm saying, that you may be like influenced by or whatever. So I think there was just a recognition for me, like having that really good eye, and then becomes like this trust value type situation that you know you start earning, right? Um, and then you know, because the way that she did it, you know, it's kind of interesting because she brought me in, kind of showed me the ropes or whatever. But then it was like, she's like, okay, I'm gonna give you this assignment, right?
Yeah.
And then she allowed me to like, you know, do that freely, like not really putting me in a box or anything like that. And then I nailed that. Like it was like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you came back with like these type of pieces based off of our conversation, based off the treatment and stuff like that. Let me give you a little bit more. And so it progressively like, you know, took on, you know, more, you know, and pretty soon afterwards, it's like, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, which is really great because like I wasn't doing it before, but I was just earning her trust, you know. So sorry to be kind of like all over the place, like in that conversation, in that. But hopefully,
So
like,
do you want to touch a little bit on Truck Fit?
Yeah, Truck Fit was really cool. Truck Fit was like a lot of people that know, like from the beginning, Truck Fit. We didn't have a name for it. We were like going back and forth over like, you know, the concept, the strategy, and you know, Wayne didn't know what he really wanted to like, you know, name it, you know, and so he came up with the word Neverland. That was like the first name for Truck Fit in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of legal issues, you know, going back and forth with the Jackson estate. So we weren't able to like get the name, legalize the name, trademark the name. And so he went into like thinking, you know, Wayne being the genius that he is, you know, he named the brand Truck Fit. And we were like, Truck Fit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is Truck Fit? Like, I mean, that was just like everybody's like, you know, like sentiments. Like, you know, what is Truck Fit? So he was like, Truck Fit means like the reason you kill for it. And so it had like a really good positive meaning, you know what I'm saying, behind it. It was like, it resonated well with like, you know, the streets as well. It was like, you know, that message to the youth, like, you know, the reason why you get up every day, you know, and do what you do, you know, you do it to kill it. You do it like, you know, for your last name, you do it for your legacy. Yeah. And so like, you know what I'm saying, it really had a good meaning to it. And then we just utilized that as a way to like, you know, just like brand that. Like me, you know, I took that, I digest that, I processed that. I said, okay, how can I take, you know what I'm saying, this to, you know, to really like touch, you know what I'm saying, these different neighborhoods, these consumers, you know. And so we started doing like, you know, activations in the neighborhood. Like I legit myself was like in the hood. Like, you know,
that's what I want you to tell them, like how you used to get it on people.
I used to get it. I was like a stormtrooper, literally hustling this brand. I mean, on Skid Row, like we were everywhere because you know what? My whole thing was that this brand means more to the streets than it do to the people that already have it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though, like, you know, these guys were like able to like, you know, elevate the brand, you know, through their likeness, you know, I really wanted it to really connect with the streets because I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, homeless people, they need to be like clothed, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and there's just a thing like with me and like homeless people, like I feel like I want to like take care of, like, I mean, like, cause I look at them and I see them and I'm like, you know what, dang, that could be me, you know, that could be my relative, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and so I always think like, how can I like, you know, do something, you know what I'm saying, to put a smile on their face. So that was like, you know, my thing, like initially, and then I started building a lot of relationships like out in New York, you know, with like, you know, people like Brianna. Her and I, like, you know, had like really good, like, you know, energy. You know, we spoke for a while. I met like Rihanna like 3 or 4 times like while I was in New York, and just that constant, like, you know, bumping heads. You know, she gave me her information, and she was like, you know, I'm gonna be in New York, and she's like, every time I'm in New York, she's like, I'm gonna hit you, and she did. Like, you know, she hit me up, and I went over to her hotel. It was like constantly dropping off clothes, and it was crazy because we built that bond, and I couldn't pay her for what she did. You know what I'm saying? Like, she went all out, but a lot like, you know, Rihanna, you know. Some of the other like celebrities did, you know, the same thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like Lil Jon, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was super cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any pictures of Lil Jon, yeah, but he was popping back in the day.
Right.
But I mean, like, you know, like, I've touched so many people, individuals, like, you know, in the industry, and you know, it's just a testament to just, you know, just being who I am. You know what I'm saying? Just being a cool person.
Relationships are key.
Yeah, and for me, like, I've never developed this sense of pride, you know what I'm saying, either. Like, I've always remained, like, humble, you know, about everything. And I feel like that humbleness has, like, opened up doors and allowed me to take, you know what I'm saying, like, open up doors, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
right.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as the mindset, what would you say is the mindset that you need in order to enter the industry and remain there? Your own personal well-being, zen, however you feel it. Like,
the mindset I feel like you have to have in this industry is confidence. You know, I feel like you have to like know and feel like you know what you're doing.
right.
Because I think once you build up, like, you know what I'm saying, that confidence in what you're doing, people will start seeing it. You know, they're like, yo, like, that's ill. You know what I'm saying? And they'll start recognizing it. So just start, just like, you know, believing in yourself and knowing that, you know what I'm saying, you're dope by yourself. You don't have to have that, you know what I'm saying, related to you by anybody. Just know within yourself, self-confidence, that you're good. You're good enough, you know.
That's dope. Okay, well, I know, so when I was saying it, I kind of know that we both go to the same church, and we both have our things that we do in order to keep our peace, you know, within the industry, because it can be a lot, you know, ups and downs, jobs happening and falling through, last minute things coming up, running around all over the city. So what would you say is your peace of mind? How do you keep your peace of mind? Church LA, y'all. I see.
I would say definitely, like, you know, praying each morning, like, you know, not even like when I have like a gig, just naturally, just like praying each morning, like, you know what I'm saying, asking God to, like, you know what I'm saying, protect me and my family, like, you know, protect my thoughts, you know, protect my mind, like, you know, allow God to, like, you know, flow through me, you know what I'm saying, so that people can see a representation of his work and not mine. And so I say, like, you know, it's really like, you know, having that connection, that connectivity, you know what I'm saying, with God. And then, although Pastor Torre is, like, you know what I'm saying, I pastor in LA, I have a virtual pastor, TD Jakes, that, you know what I'm saying, that I tap in with, you know what I'm saying, every day as well. Like, that man is truly a blessing. And I can't thank him enough for, like, you know, dropping them gems, like, every day, every message, you know what I'm saying, is so anointed, you know, so, so yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. That's what I helps, you know, every day. But then, like, in the gigs, you know what I'm saying, as well, because like you said, we're in these high pressure, you know, situations, especially like dealing with like celebrities. And there is, like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of egos, like, you know what I'm saying, that fly around or whatever. And then just having that grace, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, helps, you know what I'm saying, that prayer, that anointing, you know what I'm saying, really helps, you know what I'm saying, you be able to, like, complete that job. So, you know, I feel like, you know, you got to have that connection with the man above, because he makes all things possible.
Okay. Amen. Word. Okay. So we didn't really talk about this, but as far as styling and presentation for the brands that you work with, for example, Truck Fit, when you are presenting them to different stores like Neiman Marcus, it's still a part of styling involved. So when you're doing those presentations and showing them the collection. So a lot of people don't realize that you don't necessarily have to just be physically styling a person, but there are other different types of styling. So what would you say the process is in order to even present that? To present
Yeah, so it's really like merchandising,
right.
you know, merchandising the SKUs, and the SKUs are just different, like, you know, items that fit within the collection. But like, you know, sometimes, like, you know, depending on, like, you know, what type of store, you know, you're selling it to, sometimes they like lockups, and lockups are basically just the same sort of like graphic that you would have up top, you know, that you would have on the bottom. And so it really kind of depends on what store you're presenting, you know what I'm saying, this presentation to. But that does help, you know, you sell your product into, like, you know, these respective stores. So I like, there's different strategies that, you know what I'm saying, that you would have, like, you know, I mean, coming from the world of like servicing like a Macy's, a Dillard's, you know, a Zoomies, a Tilly's, or whatnot. Those are the people that are really into, like, you know what I'm saying, lockups, top and bottoms, because those are that's the type of audience that, you know, come in, you know, consumer that comes in and buys their product. Now, if you're talking about like something like more so like on the high end, you know, it varies, because, you know, they buy for, you know, their demographic as well, you know, and depending on what store, some of those high-end stores are not necessarily into, like, you know, lockups. They're like, you know, they may want, like, for your particular brand, your brand may do tops really well, you know what I'm saying? Or your brand may do like bottoms really well. So depending on, like, you know what I'm saying, like what, you know, you specialize in, or what they feel like their demo would buy from you, they'll buy that, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll split that money up with other, you know, vendors as well, other brands as well.
Okay. I think it's good to just talk about that, because a lot of people do start off in merchandising before styling. I think it's good as far as learning about textiles and how the industry works as far as retail sales too. But then again, it's also another side of it. So the fact that you've done both, I think makes your knowledge much more broader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as like high and low stores.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that I feel like everybody should really, like, you know, research, you know, into, you know, merchandising. Yeah, because I mean, like, it really, there's that part of merchandising, and then there's also, like, you know, coming to, you know, the store and making sure that your pad is like merchandised well, so that, like, you know, you can kind of get those sell through as well.
Yeah.
And although
oh, there it is.
A call coming in. Sorry.
Okay.
although you may not necessarily see that in a boutique, you will see that merchandising, like in a Bloomingdale's. You know, you may see it like in a Neiman Marcus or whatever. Those mannequins, you know, have that product on to spark interest, spark conversation. And so when you see that, then it's like, you know what? All right, cool. Like, I like that top. Let me go to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, ask a store associate, like, you know, where this piece is, I want to buy it.
Right.
So merchandising, and even in the windows as well. I'm sorry, like, I want to make
sure. No, that's good. That's the point I wanted to get into, like the windows. That's a part of styling too. So that is one of the different types that you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, so what would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned in the industry? Or in styling? You could do both. You want to do both?
One of the biggest, that's kind of a tough question. What is the biggest thing that I've learned? There's so many different learning moments, you know, like I consider myself to be a student of the game, right? There's no one person that knows everything, right? You know what I'm saying? And as long as you put yourself in that position to want to always learn, you
Yeah.
know, it's only going to make you, you know what I'm saying, that much better. Like right now, we're still in the pandemic, you know, situation, and the level and feel for everything has completely, like, you know what I'm saying, has changed. I listen to podcasts constantly, and nobody really has the answers for, like, you know what I'm saying, like what's going on, like, you know what I'm saying, or how to bounce back. So old rules don't necessarily apply to like what's new, you know, and so that idea that, you know, that you may have always had may be the solution to, like, you know, what's going on right now in the digital space, you know. So so to answer your question, that's one answer to your, I feel like it's a two-part answer. The second thing I would say, like, I learned, I probably learned from being in the industry is to, you know, continue to build solid relationships, you know, continue to build rapport, and make sure that, you know, you're always sort of like, you know, exchanging, like, you know, friendly contact, like whatever, like, you know, let's go do tea. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about, you know what I'm saying, work. It could be like, you know, irrelated.
Oh, I know the first time we met up, was it like 3-4 hours?
Yeah, probably. Probably. I'm a talker.
Talking
I
about
love talking.
everything.
Right. No, for sure. I mean,
no, but that's good, because that's how you build those relationships. Like, people don't really understand it really is about building relationships, especially when you're working in the industry, like with artists or even the fashion community, you know. As far as personal styling, yes, you can build it anywhere. You know, you can build your own network, your own clientele, but because the industry is so small, you really have to trust people. And still sometimes you don't trust people, but it's good to have a good rapport, and it's good to be consistent with who you are and build genuine real relationships, because that's what people remember you for.
For sure. I mean, like, one bad situation, I mean, your name can tarnish like that quick. I mean, there's a reason why I've worked with a lot of people in the industry. Like, you know, a lot of people really trust me, and you know, I honor that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I'm only there to do a job. I'm not necessarily there to get your backstory or, like, you know what I'm saying, what you do in your personal life.
But sometimes it happens because of people. And sometimes you just, like, you end up knowing everybody's entire life. But it's cool though. It really is.
Yeah, it's like, nah, man. I'm just in love with, like, you know what I'm saying, like the game of it all. You know what I'm saying? I love pros. I love styling. I love brand building. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. That's like, you know, like stuff that I have. Like, yeah, I love brand building. I love taking something from nothing and making it into something. It's like, you know, I've done it several times.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at today, like, you know, and like building like Cowboy Studios.
Right. So talk about that.
Yeah. So Cowboy Studios. I've been developing, you know, that brand for like a year and a half, you know, like aside from, like, you know, working and doing, like, you know, stuff for Wayne and, you know, other people, whatever. I've been building and developing that. I'll tell you this much about, like, developing something from scratch. Man, I'm self-taught. Okay, so there are things that I'm, like, learning along the way that, you know, and producing a garment, you know, that, you know, I didn't get necessarily, like, when I was building a brand. It's two different, like, you know what I'm saying, hats that, you know what I'm saying, that you're putting on now. You know, and, like, you go from like
break down like, so creating a product as like t-shirts and merch for artists compared to your cowboy and how it's cut and sew.
No, I mean, see, with building merch, which I've done for Wayne too. I built this Young Money merch, you know, thing from the ground up. That was like non-existing.
Right.
You know, that was a whole thing or whatever. But I think, like, graphic design work it's it's interesting, you know. But I think it's a little bit more simplified when you're doing graphic work, you know, as opposed to like cut and sew. So I mean, for the graphic work, I was more so.
I just said promise to answer the question soon. You guys, if
Oh,
you have questions, we're going to answer them right after we finish our Q&A with him and I, and then you guys can leave your questions in the chat or in the Q&A section.
yeah. So with the Young Money merch thing, it was more so like, how do I create a movement behind, you know, Wayne being the machine? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And
Right.
so things that I feel like would, you know, resonate, you know what I'm saying, with the youth. Sort of the same sort of strategy that was applied, you know, when building Truck Fit was sort of like the mindset for how, you know, we built, you know, the merch. But, you know, merch is a lot more simpler. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like Young Money, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like whatever, like, you know, and I have fun with that project. But doing something like, you know, a cut and sew project like what I'm doing with Cowboy Studios is a little bit more intense,
Right.
Because you have to come up with develop a concept, and then from a concept you have to, like, you know, you have to make a pattern for it. Like, I mean, I know people like t-shirt is very underrated. You know,
Yeah.
you think that, you know, putting on a t-shirt is like really nothing, but when it comes down to like really, you know, producing a t-shirt, it is very difficult to produce a t-shirt that fits right. You know, so so for me, like, I'm like, you know, going around like LA.
We had a couple days where we went around at night trying to find somebody to make a t-shirt.
listen, you already know, you've been on this journey, you know what I'm saying, with me in the very beginning. But I had to find like a pattern maker that spoke my language, that would understand, you know what I'm saying, what my interpretation of what it is that I'm trying to do. Like, I need them to understand my language, and vice versa. You know, I think like when you find someone that you can connect with in that way, and because I'll drive you crazy. Like, I'm a detailist. I'm very meticulous. And so, and so, like, I'll drive you crazy if that's not, you know, who you are, you know what I'm saying? If that's not how you are, like, I'll drive you insane. So I found this older lady. She's like old enough to be my grandmother, but she's been in the game for a long time. She's been in the game for a long time, and she's really dope. She's a Hispanic lady, but she's an older lady, and she's like, I will allow you to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, tell me what it is that, and then I will provide sort of technical, like, you know what I'm saying, like, answers to what it is that you're doing. Because like I'm almost like, I don't want to compare myself to anybody, but I'm almost like Kanye in the sense that I'll get, like, you know, really crazy about these different concepts, you know what I'm saying? And so I really needed someone like her that can say, this is doable. I can do this. This, you know what I'm saying, this can be interpreted. But now, after you get, you know, the pattern, you have to go into finding the right materials, you know what I'm saying, so that, like, you know, that shirt hangs the right way, it drapes the right way, you know. And so you have to, like, you know, deal with that as well. I've gone through, for each of my products, I've developed a sample for each of my products 3 times. So people ask, like, why is clothes so expensive? Why is this stuff expensive? It's because of the development, you know, portion that, you know, is very underrated, you know. And
well,
getting
when
it to
it
be
comes to high level and quality clothes,
yes. That exactly. Like, the stuff that the materials that I use are often like Italian made, you know. And I find, like, you know, I source like the best materials that, you know, that a person can actually, like, you know, have on their bodies. I want only the best for my clients, my customers, my consumers. I want them to feel well, feel good, look good, you know, and know, like, you know what I'm saying, when they step into a room, you know, it's going to be like all eyes on them. You know? And if I didn't accomplish that, I didn't do my job.
Right.
So that's putting a lot of pressure on myself to continue to develop, you know, and push the envelope forward in terms of like, you know, what's happening in the fashion game right now. Cowboy Studios is like, you know, that brand that's going to be competed. You know, I want to compete against the Pradas of the world, the Gucci's of the world.
That's what I want you to start talking about.
Yeah, I want Cowboy Studios to really be aligned. You know what I'm saying? So when people talk about like who are you competing against, that's my competition. It ain't nobody else. We shoot for the stars. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And if we can't play on that level, we can't play at all. Right. So, you know, that's
how did you come up with Cowboy Studios? What does that mean to you?
Cowboy Studios. All right. So first of all, Cowboy was a nickname that I had back in Jackson State University. Shout out to all my Jackson State folks. JSU in the house. B. I was a freshman in the band. I played in the band Sonic Boom of the South. You know, we all have like freshman names or whatever. So I earned the name Cowboy or whatever. It was a name that really like stuck with me throughout college and also throughout like, you know, my career, you know what I'm saying, in fashion and stuff. So I sort of took, you know, my name, you know what I'm saying, and added sort of like the studio component to, you know, to it. Yeah. So that like, you know what I'm saying, like it's represented like, you know what I'm saying, like bigger than just like a name. Also for like trademarking issues, like you got to remember, like I've been dealing with lawyers and stuff, you know, like like working with truck bits. So like, you know, in terms of like positioning and like, you know, how I would be able to trademark the name Cowboy, I had to like, you know what I'm saying, maneuver around that. You know, so that's kind of like, you know, how it is. And it's CWBY_studios. Now, I do have, you know, a bit of an issue, you know, with someone like taking my name and like, you know what I'm saying, making it theirs. So we're going to have like some legal, like, you know, issues, but that's okay because I've already trademarked the name. And, you know, we're going to be sending out cease and desist here pretty soon. So. Okay. but, but Cowboy Studios is like, you know, it's my interpretation of where I feel like vintage and modern meets. Yeah. And so I really am passionate about looking at classic pieces and then pieces of familiarity and then giving it a very edgy but modern like feel and look to it. Yeah. So that's my thing. And it's been very difficult to sort of like you know, cultivate that sort of like recipe, but I think like, you know, I was able to accomplish it, at least like you saw like in that jersey that I made, like the Zionic jersey, it was made out of linen. And so that so that piece actually took 5 days to sew and 5 hours to cut. Yeah, it was a monster because linen, when you're sewing linen, it has a propensity of moving, you know, and so it has to be like kind of like stitch by stitch by stitch by stitch, and so yeah, so it's one of those. But cost? What's that?
I said, so how much is that gonna cost?
That piece is like $1,100 right now, but let me tell you, like I'm gonna be honest with you, with the amount of time and the development that went into that particular piece, like I'm making no money, like, you know what I'm saying, like off the product. It's more so my passion for, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, the composition. Like I want it to be and represent like well, like, you know what I'm saying, like I said, I really wanted to compete against those top brands, you know, so it has to have, you know, a unique look, a unique style. It's got to be dope. You know, it's got to be interesting. You know, it's got to be able to have legs to stand on itself.
Yeah, and it will.
Yeah, for sure.
So I see we have a couple questions here, but before we hop into the questions, me and Mike definitely want to team up with someone here if you want to let them know what we talked about.
Yeah, for sure. So I was like, you know, this is such a amazing, like, you know, conversation. I was like, you know, this is actually, by the way, my first webinar.
And you did
So
great.
I don't know, guys. You guys let me know if I should be doing more of this or if I should stay behind the scenes. I don't know.
Great. See? Yes, do more.
Yeah. No, there's so much more stuff. There's so much more stuff to talk about. I mean, 8 years of like really like seeing, you know, like I've seen some of the craziest things. Like I know we're on a time constraint, and you reminded me of that like yesterday. You're like, yo, Mike, do not go off the deep end with your explanations. Like,
no, guys, we could literally be on here until about 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I'll go on and on and on and on. Yeah. But yeah, no, so basically what we wanted to do, B and I had teamed up, and we really wanted to, like, you know, donate or dedicate, you know, our experiences to like one person that was like attending the call today. Basically, what we wanted to do was just like, you know, kind of provide our services and our expertise to like one person on the call. So it's like, you know, follow me, follow her, and then she's going to send you the details to, you know, the rollout of our offerings.
Our offer. And that email will go out by Friday next week. We'll pick whoever you choose within the chat. Just make sure you leave your Instagram handle and your name so that we can get in contact with you, and also your email. And what that consists of is somewhat of like creative branding you and also styling. So please, again, leave your name, your Instagram, and your email, because we'll be choosing someone, and you'll get all the information by next Friday. So now, if you guys have any questions, we'll go into that. And also, Mike, you want to give them your Instagram handle too? Let them know how to.
Sure. It's Morris, MORRIS 01. And then if you guys, you know, want to follow the brand Cowboy Studios, it's at CWBY_studios.
Yes.
Again, that's CWBY_studios.
And if there's anybody in here that is interested in creative branding or styling and implementing that into their own business, especially during this time where it's a pandemic and we have time to build, you can contact me at BRIWise Style. That's at BRIWise Style to get information on my course and my book. Again, that teaches you all the information you need to know as far as styling, how to set your rates, how to create your packages, contracts and agreements, all the different types of jobs there are as a stylist, and one-on-one mentoring comes along too. You want to take that road and just jump out there and be a stylist like Mike and I. So let's jump into the questions. I saw it was one in the chat.
Thanks, Mara, by the way.
Yes, Mara. Mara introduced us, guys.
That's right.
Mara's an amazing actress, and she introduced us after one of her short films that she created at the screening.
Yeah.
And ever since then, me and Mike been cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question is from Tasha. She said, what is some aspect of styling a celebrity of Wayne's caliber that people wouldn't know?
That he's unorthodox. And for that reason, we have to have options on options on options on options and options. A Lil Wayne's dressing room looks like I don't know, like it looks like a Neiman Marcus on steroids. I shouldn't say this, but
interesting question.
but I mean, you know, he, you know, we'll have a treatment, you know, and you know, we'll try to, like, you know, pick things based off of like what, you know, the treatment sort of like, you know, calls for.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's always best to sort of like, you know,
what the treatment is. Some people
What's
don't
that?
explain what a treatment is.
Oh yeah, sure. So a treatment is basically like kind of like a packet, you know, if you will, of like information about what the video details.
Yeah.
So if, like we're doing like, you know, video or commercial, you know, a trailer or whatever, that treatment basically outlines everything that's going to take place in terms of like what character he's going to be placing, a mood board, everything. So that just really gives us a visual of everything that's going to happen for that particular project. And so what we do is just like, you know, we buy stuff based off of what, you know, that treatment provides.
Yeah. So you would just say that it's a lot.
Well, yeah, it's just an informative like documentation, you know, on like what's, you know, what project we're working on, like, you know, in terms of like what character Wayne's playing, you know, the scenes, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, leading up to the end, and how many changes, you know, that are going to be a part of that. Like, it just gives everything, all inclusive, everything about like, you know, what's going on and how to prepare him for that particular role that he's playing, fulfilling, you know, in that project.
Yeah. Okay, we have a question from Imani. Any advice for fashion student aspiring stylists on getting started into the fashion industry? You want to touch it and I can touch it?
Yeah. I would say I would say
It's also twofold too, the type of styling you can do, whether it be celebrity production styling or personal styling. And I know you, hey Imani, in here, let us know which one you want and we can actually just touch on both of them too.
Yeah, it's rather broad. I'm trying to like process like how to attack that question. You want to maybe take the first part, maybe? I don't know.
Well, okay, as far as production styling or styling a celebrity, it definitely will start with you gaining knowledge from it, and also working with someone that's already there. Again, this industry is very small, so you won't be able to just walk up to a celebrity and start working with them. You need to know who their team is. You need to build a good rapport with them, assistant, intern, but also it's good to have information beforehand because many stylists don't want to hire someone that they have to teach everything to. So that's why it's good to have information beforehand, know what certain showrooms are, know how to get in contact with people, know what to say, know how to organize paperwork. All that is good to know if you want to get hired as an assistant with someone that's a celebrity stylist. And if you're interning, of course, sometimes they'll work with you just to get your feet wet. But I always feel like it's just good to have some type of foundation before you get started. And you can find that information in various different places. Stylists can hang out on Production Paradise is one website that I've used. Hayden 5 is another one. And also just putting yourself in an area where you know that you can meet people like that. And now that things are so accessible with the internet, social media, you can easily find someone's phone number or email. Just be consistent with reaching out, letting them know what you're interested in, and those doors will open. Now, as far as personal styling, pretty much the same thing with the foundation and having your business together. Knowing how to set your rates, knowing how to create your package, knowing how to set up things, knowing the forms and information that you give to your client before you even start shopping for them, and knowing exactly what they need and knowing who your perfect customer is, that's where you would start in order to become a personal stylist. So
yeah, no, that's good. I mean, that pretty much tackles everything. I'd also say maybe like start building out your portfolio. You know,
absolutely.
And start, you know what I'm saying, small. You know, start with like, you know, someone that, you know, is a best friend that's an inspiring model or whatever, and start just building up a portfolio from that, you know. And I think if people start seeing like, you know, your work, you know, it could lead into like, you know, other things.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely content is key because if you are trying to reach out to someone, whether it be personal styling or any other type of stylist, people want to see what you have to offer. They want to see your eye. They want to see if it relates to their brand or who they are. So
For
having
sure.
something that you can actually show them, whether it be, well, now I think it should all be digital. So whether you have a website, I think everyone should have now that it's so accessible, and then also having your Instagram or anything that you're marketing yourself as a business as, and also keeping it more personal too, because there are people who will hire you just from you being you rather than just looking at the book. So having the
Absolutely.
balance of that is important.
For sure. I think one of the comments Ezra just said, like, make sure, like, you have really good photography. And I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that's a good one.
absolutely. That is like
That's
100%. That's the key. That's the key to it. You can have really like cool concepts and like, amazing like outfits, but if you have a horrible photographer, forget about it.
yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, let's see. We have one from Ezra. What is the average time it takes to build a brand? Ooh, that's a hard. I mean,
The average time it takes to build a brand,
I don't
I
think
mean, I don't think there's no like specific timing,
right.
to building, a brand. I think, you'll start seeing, like, based off of the consumer's engagement, how well like the brand is starting to like develop legs, and sort of starting to become, a name with form into a name within itself. And I mean that, of course, like, obviously, like, forms over, a period of time. So there's no estimate or date, on when that take place. I think it does develop over consistency,
Yeah.
it develops over, your strategy, your branding strategy, your marketing strategy, your content, um, your placements in terms of like, who's wearing your product,
Yeah.
Your activity in terms of like, how well you're activating, in concentrated areas where your consumer is.
Yeah.
And I think like, those are just sort of like the things that you need to sort of like narrow down,
Sure.
I mean, obviously, like, we're becoming like more digital. So, you have to take, some of those components and then even like, apply that, what I'm saying, like in a space where you're now captivating like, people that are like scrolling, all the time, scrolling up and down the feed. How are you, creating content that essentially stands out from everybody else's? And that's where, where the sauce is, if you ask me. I mean, how often do you, flick up and down, up, on your Instagram, and it's like, you may double tap if like there's something that really like, captivates your attention. So I think it's just like, focusing on how to stand out, but be you organically, it's like, some of those things that help like, build, brand cachet, as well.
Right. And also when it comes to creating a brand, I think that it's always going to keep evolving. Like it's always going to change. There's never going to be anything perfect. I honestly believe I was a victim of it myself, and I know you do it too, Mike. But we just feel like we have to have everything perfect, and sometimes you don't, because you don't realize that what you have, somebody may really want or really want to meet for your services, and you're trying to perfect something, but sometimes you just need to put it out there. And
It's
it's
true.
always tweaking along the way. So it's nothing wrong with that. And as you do that, your confidence will get better and better and better, because you're going to be consistent with it. You're going to consistently work on your business, your brand. And I think that's the part of creating a brand, not a timeline at all. Just
Yeah.
continuing to better yourself, which
Yeah.
will help better your business.
People are really in love with the process.
Yeah, it's going to be a process.
Yeah, people are in love with seeing, the growth of it all.
Yeah.
And what I typically do is that I put a lot of the process of what it is that I do in my story.
Yeah.
And that's my engagement factor. that, you know, allows people to continue to come back and check in with me to see like what I'm doing.
Right.
And then I use like, you know, my board more so as like, you know what I'm saying, like this is what came of that, you know what I'm saying? This is what came of like, you know, that process or whatever. So that's kind of like my internal thinking. I mean, everybody else like, you know, has their different ways of doing it. I mean, obviously like, you know, you have to play, you know, the games, the rules by like, you know, IG, you know, if you want to matriculate, you know, but my thing is that it's a slow growth for me. I'm not necessarily like concerned with like, you know, it blowing up overnight. I'm in love with the process. I'm in love with like, you know what I'm saying, like making things like from scratch. So once I'm able to like really like refine, you know, my stuff, you know, through the process, I think you would enjoy it, you know, that much more. So I don't know. That's sort of my take on it.
Okay, we have one from B4. That you said that you were self-taught. How long would you say it took you to fully be confident in your craft? That's a good one. We both can.
How long did it take me to be fully
confident in your craft?
Confident in my craft? I don't know, man. I want to give y'all like, and this is not an arrogant response, but man, when you got God on your side, man,
okay.
you feel confident from the door, from the jump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I know I'm here for a purpose.
Right.
You know, I'm like I'm here. You know what I'm saying, for a reason. You know, and I don't know. I'm just. That's not me being overly confident. I don't want people to like say that and just like be like, "Yo, this dude cocky." No, it's not.
You have a reason to be if that's what it is. Like, you know, we all do. You know,
and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to tell people that either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right. Yeah. I feel like we all have a special gift, and it's up to us to share it and how we share it.
Yeah.
I definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. As long as you have that. And then, of course, if you need, you know, help or mentoring or someone to guide you along the ways, that will shorten the time span, and that's also great.
Yeah, but I'm just, I mean, like, I literally, like, I have a conversation with God, you know what I'm saying, every day in the morning, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, and so, like, I know, you know, I mean, you can even tell through just things that just open up, like, you know what I'm saying, it's just like, you know, wow, like, the alignment like be like so crazy. It'd be like, wow, like, you know, like, yo, this happened. It's like,
right.
I already know who did this one.
Right.
My guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and so I think, you know, when you have that connection, you know, with God, like, you know what I'm saying, all things are possible. You know what I'm saying?
All things.
So
absolutely. Okay, we have one from Ezra. She said, when do you think a designer or a brand should start placing product, and should they shoot for celebrities first? Okay, so Ezra, when you say placing product, are you saying in stores, or are you saying placing them marketing wise in showrooms or to be placed on celebrities? So that's kind of are you saying placed in stores or content? Content. So, okay. So I guess showrooms are getting it placed on celebrities. When do you feel like your product should be put out there to be placed on certain people?
Well, I'll give you this. I feel like you grow with your community first. Grow within your community first. Start creating a buzz within, you know, your initial community. Like those are all your homies, those are homies of a homie or whatever, even if they're wearing hat or whatever, brand recognition, you know, get the name out there so that, you know what I'm saying, there's at least, you know, faces, you know what I'm saying, out there. And then what I would also do is it's like everybody's going after, you know what I'm saying, the celebrities, but the people that are just as effective of the celebrities are their go-to people, the gatekeepers, you know what I'm saying? Those are the role managers, the assistants, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the stylists and all of those people. Like, you know, give them hats, you know what I'm saying? Because once the celebrity starts seeing them with it, then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm telling you, the celebrities like, oh, why I don't have that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, get through
Clever.
the feed system first. You know what I'm saying? Feed it through after you build the community, you know, of people that are wearing it. Like, get it, you know what I'm saying? Like, start like impressing upon like the people that are around those camps or whatever. And then from there, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can kind of it's easier to make that connection, you know what I'm saying, with the celebrity, because there's recognition. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a movement behind it. You know what I'm saying? My people has been introduced to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now, like, you know what I'm saying, get me in the campaign. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to shoot, you know what I'm saying? And then you can sort of progress, you know what I'm saying, into like a portfolio of selling it into a store.
Right.
Like, I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on, you know?
Yeah. Okay, one more question we have is an anonymous. Why are you anonymous? We want to know who you are. What advice do you have for digital artists building portfolios for the fashion industry?
Digital artists that are building portfolios for
The fashion industry. I'm not necessarily sure what that means.
Okay, digital artists that are building fashion for
digital in what way? Are you creating sketches? Are you a graphic designer? What's a digital portfolio?
so
Just
like
different ones.
like a merch board, or like what?
Yeah, let us know what that means.
I just need a little bit more clarity on that.
Well, in the meantime, we can. Graphic designer merch board.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Like,
designer, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So in order to, like, I think, create an effective, like, you know, board for a celebrity, I think first you have to really tap into, you know, who that celebrity is,
right,
their audience, and really, like, the merch should sort of be a reflection of who that artist is, you know, in that, whatever that creative way, you know, is, you know. And I think that you should provide, like, options. I wouldn't just provide like one board. I would probably provide like several boards, because I think several boards provides this sort of sense of, like, wow, this person really, like, you know, wants, you know what I'm saying, to do this, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like, most of the times, like, these artists have like a graphic guy like on board, like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like, you know. But if you really want to impress upon them that, you know, you're the man for the job, you know, and you have a interesting concept that sort of like coincides with, you know, their movement or whatever, then I would provide, like I said, like several boards, you know, for them to see, you know, and, you know, hopefully, you know, that works, you know. What does it say?
What are their values? What drives them? And what is the purpose of the product? Well, it's different for everybody. Go ahead. It's different for everybody on those. It says, what are their values? What drives them? And what is, yes. So if that's what you're saying, that's what you would ask, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was just in response to the initial explanation.
What was the question mark after it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. It's all good, Ezra. We got you. Thank you so much, Mike, for doing this. I hope you guys found a lot of value in it. Again, if you guys want to reach out to us, Mike's Instagram handle is
Morris M01, and then CWBY_studios.
Yeah, so he's always there. You guys can hit him up, reach out to him. And also my Instagram handle is FreeWiseStyle. If you're interested in learning more about styling and pretty much everything that we talked about today, you can hit me up, and that'd be great. So
yes.
Thank you. Oh, and also again, we're going to do a special styling package for one person inside this group, and we'll be letting you know by Friday. This Friday coming up. I don't know the date right now, but it'll be this Friday. Well, thank you, Mike.
All right.
You're great, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, see? All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.